Welcome back to the channel. We have some exciting new releases from MVP today. This is the Axiom Proton Soft Envy. We've got the Proton Particle Glow Hex. Took me a couple takes to finally get that one right. And I've got the Proton Soft Pyro. Now, I know MVP had a lot of other molds today. They were not for me. They were all lightweight. The drivers were for some reason, but these are max weight. So we can give these a rip. It's a windy day here in Texas. And just for context, I'm a 975 rated disc golfer. Also gonna be putting with Isaac Robinson's new Peak. I just picked all these up from Replay Sports in McKinney, Texas. Support your local disc golf shop. Let's go to Bill Allen. I am literally running through the course, so I'm not gonna have audio while we're going through, but I'll talk over it, give you an idea of how these stack up to my current in the bag molds, and then we'll talk about thoughts after it. But let's get into some actual disc golfing. Let's get started on hole one here. It's 279, a little bit of a tailwind. I rode that Proton Soft Envy. Threw it on some hyzer, wanted to see how stable it was gonna be. And actually went a little deep, which that was a pretty long flight for that disc off the start, but we hit that putt from the edge of circle. And then we're going to an incredibly low ceiling, tight gap. Ended up going through the tiniest gap you could have gone, but the Pyro flew incredibly straight. We had a little bit of a headwind, and that 2.5 fade was not really there. So then, knowing that it was a little bit straighter, I kind of went with the flex line on this one. This is one of my favorite holes. I've hit cage and change 2 days in a row here. That one bounced off the top of the cage, almost aced with the second throw with that Pyro. That would have been something else. Got the birdie. This one is 240 tailwind here, going with that Proton Soft, actually a little bit of headwind, sorry. Proton Soft Envy. Honestly, flew exactly as expected. Hit a tree, dropped down. We had a fun putt here. We just banded it with the Peak. It stayed up in the air pretty well. And then this is a fun par 4, 621, going with the Hex. So now I have a tailwind. And I'm thinking that it is going to flip over throwing it that hard, but you can see it didn't want to move right, which actually was incredibly confidence boosting for the next hole. So we got about a 240, 250 foot shot left with the Envy. Ended up kind of aiming edge of circle on the right, and with that tailwind, it was like, we're taking your disc and we're going to end up moving this about 60 feet total to the left. It just would not drop out of the air. It is what it is. But this is one of my favorite shots of the day. This is with that Hex. After I saw it with the last one, we had a little bit of a left to right, so I popped it up on hyzer, and it just slowly, so beautifully drifted to the right and left me with an edge of circle putt that, you know, couldn't bang home. That's fine. And this one says 347. I think it's more like 330. This is the Soft Pyro. I normally go with the Destroyer or one of my Firebirds, depending on the wind. We had a tailwind here, so it pushed it further than normal. So this actually worked out really well. It's a little less stable than my Neutron Pyro after throwing it, which is really cool. But this one is kind of like, there's really nothing I could probably do to get there. It's an incredibly high shot. You're exposing the bottom of the disc to the headwind. So push me into the trees. We'll just tap out for a par here and move on. We're gonna use that Soft Envy here. This is only 192 feet, it's shorty. So buttery, baby, smooth shot. And I was wondering if it was just gonna hyzer out. It's got a really mellow, smooth flight. If you're an AM looking for an Envy, I also think this would be an incredibly good one. And this is a tough hole. I went with the Pyro. Day before I had my other Pyro, and it ended up a lot further. So there's something about the Soft that it's a little bit easier to, maybe for me at least, distance control. I was loving the Pyro, and there's a creek on the right. I just wanted to try to push down the gap, hung it a little too far left, and had to pitch back out to the middle here. It's a par 4. It's one of the hardest par 4s that we've got around here, just from like how tight this tunnel is, and the Pyro went off the band. We almost threw it in for a birdie. So this Pyro, I'm an absolute massive fan of this Proton Soft so far, and I kind of go back to it again with this little shorty. I think I like this disc a little bit more than the Envy so far, throwing them. And then we're moving on to an awesome par 4 here. This one is the Hex. I was aiming at that tree. We had just a little bit of a headwind, and I was hoping it was going to drift through that tight gap between the two trees and left me with a little upshot with that Proton Soft Envy. And like, that was the babiest of Annies, and we almost missed that putt. We're going to ignore that and move on. So just something to think about. And then I'm going to throw this Proton Soft Envy again. And you can kind of see it does get played around. It's kind of like on an elevator with all the wind we had in there, but it's not that crazy overstable. Just going to approach with that soft Pyro again. And it settled right near the pin, just a tap out for our final birdie. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to be honest. I got a little sweaty there at the end running through. I only had about 30 to 45 minutes to play that round, and we rushed. But I still feel like I learned a ton about these discs. Let's talk about this Proton Soft Envy first. First disc I want to talk about is going to be this Proton Soft Envy. Now, I've got two other Envies that I've bagged throughout the years. I've got this Cosmic Neutron Envy. It's a lot firmer, really good grip, and I've got this patent pending Proton Envy. This thing is pretty sweet. I actually think it flies very similar to this disc right here. Cosmic Neutron, the other Neutron ones, the Soft Envy, they're all way overstable. So if you're looking for an overstable run of these, go with the Cosmic Neutron. Whereas these Proton, whether it's soft or whether the Protons are stiff, I think they're all they're mellow, honestly. Maybe more like a 3301 on the flight rating. So this one I'll mess around with. I'll keep it in the bag just for now for some more fun. But I think it's a little too straight for me, which maybe that's a good thing. But you'll have to get over the insanely pliable plastic. So if you can handle that, these things are pretty sweet. Super good grip. And I really like how this one turned out. Time to talk about the Hex, one of my favorite molds, okay? This is an incredibly good mid-range. It's basically 5.5 -1.1. This disc is dead straight to the flight numbers. Every time I expected this disc to fly a certain way, it did. Now, even across the 375-foot water shot, this thing did incredibly well into the wind. It basically just kind of like rode flat and just did a little bit of a drift and then finished. And I think we ended up maybe about like 340, 350-ish, around that range with this one. So that's an awesome, awesome disc. This could actually make the bag. I think I like how flat it is compared to this one. I love the color scheme on this one, but it's a little bit domey, and I don't love domey discs. So just something to think about. Neutron Hexes are going to be a little bit stiffer than that one that I just showed, and the closest that I could find to what this current disc is going to be this this Proton Soft Hex or the Eclipse Hex. I actually think the Eclipse Hex flies extremely similar to this one right here. Sweet. Let's talk about my favorite mold, which is the Pyro. I'm serious. Like, I bag this disc. If you've been watching the channel, you know I hype this disc up a lot. There's a good reason for it, okay? It's just something unique about it. But this is like 5 out of 5 stiffness, okay? I have nothing really between the Hex and the Pyro. So after throwing this, I feel like I can actually fit this disc between my overstable, super stiff Prism Neutron Pyro and a Hex. Super, super happy. This thing flew 330 on a forehand. This thing was absolutely money for me when I was throwing this today. This is going to actually jump into the bag, like possibly with the Hex. So if you are looking for something unique, I think this one is actually a little bit less stable than your typical Pyro. I do have it in the Proton Pyro as well, but this is absolutely money. I am going to be putting this in. Really cool stamp as well. It's pretty hilarious. So if you're looking at these, highly recommend the Hex and the Pyro. If you like the crazy, crazy soft Envies, then go pick one up. Hope you guys enjoy this one. We are close to 700 subscribers. When we hit that, we'll be giving away another disc. And I've got in the next use bin video, since we already hit 600 since 5 days ago, we had like 500. You guys have been going crazy supporting the channel, so thank you so much. I have a special giveaway that we're going to be doing in the next video. So make sure you hit subscribe so you can make sure you comment and you get entered to win that one. I'll see you guys all in the next use bin video.